Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to talk about celebrities who drink, and I think it's quite important to remind ourselves that although what we see in the newspaper isn't always what's going on beneath kind of these people's lives, you always think that they have this incredible life and everything's going well, but it's definitely far from the truth. And before I go into it, please like and subscribe if you like the channel. Please, it does really help, of course, with the algorithm, etc. So celebrities that have quit alcohol, I mean, there's so many out there, and one of the reasons I made this video is because I actually seen another video pop up about celebrities that don't drink, and there's so many of them out there. You know, like I've actually got a list here of Robert Downey Jr., Bradley Cooper, Adele, Eminem, Drew Barrymore, Zac Efron, Daniel Radcliffe, Anthony Hopkins, and it's funny because you end up seeing them so many times on the screen enjoying that Jack Daniels, that beer, and we all know that's a bit of a myth, and they wake up in the morning the next day, they've always managed to pull the stunning girl or the guy, and then they don't have a hangover, which is pretty ridiculous. And like I mentioned in the intro, I mean, I think it's important that people know about a lot of these celebrities having these kind of addictive, personalities and have addictions themselves. And for me, I always remember kind of growing up and seeing these celebrities, and you'd watch them kind of, they were always walking out of pubs and bars, clutching a beer, having a cigarette, and it just looked like this ideal life they had. I mean, that was probably the late 90s and the early 2000s. I remember pretty much every magazine you would open, there'd be a picture of, like Noel and Liam Gallagher from Oasis crawling out of a bar, or you get Pete Doherty with Kate Moss crawling out of a bar, and that was what you kind of idolized. And a lot of them, you see videos now of them, especially for example Pete Doherty, and I think Kate Moss was the same, where they just did a 180 and went on the kind of straight and narrow path. But for us, I remember, that's who you kind of followed and you envied, that here was these millionaires who were mixing with the other celebrities and partying until 5 a.m. They had the big houses, the money, the cars, and it's not a surprise that we ended up, the binge drinkers and other kind of heavy drinkers or lighter drinkers. It's not a surprise that we ended up kind of where we are. And it's funny because we think of celebrities as being these, like I said, living the great life and the life we all envy. But it's funny when you research a bit of their stories like I did, and it's always the same issue. I mean, a lot of these people, the celebrities, were introverted in the past, and they get famous and struggle to deal with the pressure. There's also a lot of peer pressure around kind of award ceremonies and the personal persona back in the day, where you couldn't be a rock and roll star if you weren't throwing TVs out of windows and drinking every day and waking up and having a whiskey or going drunk onto a TV show. That was the absolute norm. And kind of when you read it deep down, it was just always the same. Before you knew it, they had an addiction, and then they were trying to hide their addiction, and it just got absolutely out of control. And a lot of the celebrities had their kind of bottom moment, and there was also people like myself and like many others out there who just, I think it was a culmination of things, just bored of being tired 2-3 days after the weekend, tired of the brain fog, just feeling that you kind of underachieved, and it's just not a good place to be in. And I think there's a few things we can learn from this. It's just, I think we always assume that we're the only ones maybe with the issue. We always assume that there's other people, not only celebrities, out there who, seem to be living this great life, and that was made a million times worse, as when Instagram and all these other platforms came out, and you really think that everyone's having this great time. And I always kind of wonder when you're watching these, watch a lot of YouTube, probably too much, and you see these kind of groups of folk going away on their yachts and going to parties, and you wonder if they are truly happy. And I think kind of researching a bit of this video and finding out about the celebrities, I mean, they just all have the same issues as everyone else. And I think a kind of good lesson from it, and finding out that there's so many celebrities out there that are that have issues. It just shows you that they're basically just the same as everyone else, and what we should always do is not kind of idolize them and think that they kind of lead this amazing glamorous life, because I think deep down they're all kind of the same as us. So it was just a quick video, and hopefully, just like I said, I just wanted to bring to attention, because I never knew there was so many celebrities and sports people and that didn't drink. And like I said, I think it's just important to remind ourselves that you know, not everyone around us is leading this glamorous life. Even your people that you can work with, friends and family members that might be cruising and still walk about talking about how much they can drink and how drunk they were at the weekend. Maybe they're just not that happy inside, and I think we just need to be kind of more content with ourselves and just enjoy our lives and enjoy the alcohol-free lives that we're living. Anyway, please like and subscribe if you liked the video, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.